Disney is getting sued over their reservation system, SeaWorld's brand new roller coaster, and Universal is beating Disney at their own game. All this and more on today's weekly news update. All right, let's get started. We've got a lot of news. It's actually been a little while since we've done the weekly news update. We've skipped a few weeks because we've been out of town so much. There wasn't a ton of stuff happening, and so we're like, you know what? I don't want to report the news if there isn't a lot of news. So sometimes we just kind of skip it, but there's a lot of stuff happening over the next few months, things that are coming up, and things that are happening this week. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to talk about is SeaWorld's brand new roller coaster. We've talked about this a little bit before, it's been reported on before, but there's more details now about the actual roller coaster itself. It's called the Pipeline Surf Coaster, and it's going to open up in 2023. It's interesting because when we've been driving by SeaWorld, we actually go by Discovery Cove and SeaWorld, and we've seen the track sitting there for like a month. Long before they did this sort of media preview that they just did and more of the announcement, we've been seeing the track pieces kind of laying over there. I should have got some video of it when it was sitting there because it's like on the other side of a fence and I could literally see that. I didn't pay attention if it's still there or not, but we've been seeing it kind of being shipped there and dumped off for a while now, and we're like, ooh, I wonder what it's going to be about. But the roller coaster looks pretty cool. It's a stand-up roller coaster, so kind of like a stand-up-ish, sit-down-ish roller coaster, but it looks... Yeah, it reminds me of the King Cobra, but it looks like it has some sort of like spring or hydraulic system or something on each seat. And so what's interesting about it does remind me of the King Cobra. King Cobra was a stand-up roller coaster at Kings Island. I think it was one of the first stand-up, if not the first stand-up. I can't remember. I think when we did our Kings Island episode, we went through all the world, because Kings Island has all these record-breaking coasters and everything, and I feel like the King Cobra was in there. Maybe it was the first stand-up coaster with a loop. I don't remember, but it's something about that. I rode that 47 times in one day one time because it was a short ride. It was like you went around, you went down a hill, over a loop, and came around, you were done. Like it was literally just like whoop, and you were done. I think it was like 15 seconds long or something, or 30 seconds long. And the weather was terrible one day, and me and my friend Ryan, we actually rode it 47 times in one day. We just never hardly got off of it. It was a lot of fun. I liked it, but it was a stand-up coaster. Now, they're doing this Pipeline coaster, which is kind of a cool, one-of-a-kind stand-up coaster that has this weird, like, springy system. So it's supposed to feel like you're surfing, which kind of reminds me a little bit of Hagrid's. Like, because when you ride Hagrid's, if you're on the motorcycle and you kind of, like, lean with the turns, it feels kind of like, you know, you're like on a motorcycle and it just feels really cool. I like the way it feels. And then I like Mystic Timbers, how it kind of does that surf motion side to side thing too, at Kings Island. It looks like the Pipeline coaster is gonna be something similar to that, but maybe more of a vertical surfing. Kind of like, you know, like it like springs up and down with you while you're kind of stand sitting. So they say it gives you extreme freedom of motion range. I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but it looks pretty cool.
A brand new fireworks show is coming to Magic Kingdom the week of Christmas. It's Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks. That's gonna be so cute.
It's replacing Enchantment for that week. So far, just that week. I don't know if it's gonna be extended or not. I don't know if we're gonna get to see it unless you have the party though, so I'm a little bit worried. I'm hoping that they don't only just have it on the party nights, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I'm hoping that guests who don't actually go to the Christmas party in the evenings actually still get to see this version of the fireworks, because that's always a struggle, because sometimes it sells out and you can't even get into the party even if you wanted to. But it sounds fun. Minnie feels Christmas to me.
Yeah.
When Minnie puts on her little like, what is it, Santa Claus, what is it, Mrs. Claus, like gear, her like, you know what I'm talking about? Like the red and the white and the puffy. She just looks so cute. She just feels like Christmas to me. And I love anything Minnie Mouse at Christmas time. I think it's perfect. Mickey too, but Minnie especially just feels Christmas to me. So I really think the fireworks are gonna be cute. I wanna see them. So there you go. If you're gonna be here around Christmas time, you might get to see a really cute fireworks show instead of Enchantment, which Enchantment's fine, but it's kind of nice to see something different. Let's talk about all the price increases that are happening at Disney. what are they doing?
It's insane.
Like, it's out of control, people. Like, it is literally I feel like every time we turn around, there's another price increase at Disney. I feel like every time we do one of these weekly news updates, we talk about price increases at Disney. It's insane. Let's just list them all off. What's the number one thing that you're the most concerned about?
The ears are $5 more now.
$5 more.
That's a lot.
I'm pretty sure we've actually mentioned that on like every video we've done for like the last week about how they're $5 more.
That's a huge increase.
That's a big increase, especially when some of them are $30. $5. What is it? Like a I'm not mathing it out. 15% increase or something? I don't know, but something. That's a lot. At a single point in time as an upgrade, and it's not like $1 or $2. It's $5. So more price increases there. They're also increasing. They introduced variable pricing, so it doesn't sound like a price increase, but it is a price increase for Genie Plus. It's like around like $22 for Genie Plus based on variable pricing. At like it can even go higher than that.
I saw it could go up to
$30. It's recently been $30 at Disneyland for Genie Plus. So like it's. Like, that's gone up in price, even though variable pricing doesn't make it sound like it, but it really is. When it's busy, it's like more expensive. So that's a lot. $30, that's a lot. I think we already reported on the price increases, on the droids and the lightsabers and stuff experiences. But it's interesting because I saw somebody posted the other day, they were upset because they had made a reservation for the lightsaber experience, understanding that it would be a certain price, and then they basically got a notification from Disney after they had already made the reservation. It said, hey, by the way, just letting you know the prices are more, so if you want to keep your reservation, you're going to be paying more money. And they're like, I guess, yeah. And so they they could have canceled it for sure. And it's not like they had to lay money down to get the reservation. But still, it almost feels like it's kind of pulling the rug out from under you a little bit.
Well, you probably already told your kids and...
Yeah, and so they're like, yeah, right, like I'm going to tell my kid, never mind, we're not doing the lightsaber experience because they raised it like $20 or $30 or whatever it was. It went up. Yeah, so that was kind of a bad experience for that, but I get it, man. I don't know how else to roll out a price increase. I mean, you can't honor everybody, otherwise you never get ahead, I guess. And then the rapid refill cups, the sort of the week long, like if you stay for a week at the hotels and you get the refillable mugs, those went up in price too. And then pretty much all food and drinks have gone up in price again. I feel like we just said all food and drinks went up in price, like not that long ago, and they went up again. So it's crazy, but. Honestly, I can't really fault them. Again, it's supply and demand. It's simple economics. It's a simple principle. When the demand is higher than the supply, you got to increase prices. There's nothing else you can do about it. So until the supply either gets bigger, which it doesn't seem like they're adding any more parks, they're not wanting to add a bunch more hotels. It seems like the only way to keep price increases from happening is to slow the demand down, which means people like us have to stop going to Disney as much. And I'm just not there yet. The prices aren't high enough yet for me to make that call. So they're getting there, but they're not there yet. And probably for a lot of people, they are there already, and a lot of people, they're not there. But until people stop going and stop paying those prices, you can't fault them for raising the prices.
Fantasmic has finally returned, and the times are 8 and 9:30 on November 3rd. I know there's a lot of people who have been looking forward to that. My friend Monica, that's her favorite thing at Disney. So I know people are super excited it's coming back finally.
Yeah. And I believe those times are the same from the 4th through the 7th as well, but November 3rd, the official times are posted. So I'm not a big fan of Fantasmic. I'm just going to say it. Unpopular opinion. It's not my thing.
I like it. I just remember a bad experience once where I got ate up by mosquitoes, like really, really bad. And my kids were little and they all got ate up by mosquitoes because it's around a lot of water. And I was like...
We were in like the front row.
Miserable because there were so many bugs.
That was
so
tough. Yeah.
I do like it, but I kind of like always think of bugs when I think about it. So...
There's just too many slow parts for me. Like there's a part where people were like rowing a boat down the water for like 10 minutes and there's not like any fireworks. I mean, it's just, there's too many boring parts. But they did say they're making some changes. They've gotten rid of some of the slow pier points. They've made some improvements, I believe. So I'm actually excited to go see it because maybe it's going to be awesome. I'll be honest. I'm kind of a big fan of just rolling up at the last minute and watching fireworks.
Yeah.
I don't like to like go an hour ahead of time, scout out my spot, get a reservation just to watch a fireworks show. So for me, Fantasmic is never going to be on the level of regular fireworks shows because you do have to kind of like get there early, get a seat. You got to sit there and wait a long time. It's just not my personal bag. For some people, they love it. Yeah, I know Monica, they get to the fireworks like 4 hours early.
No.
And like, they put a tent down. They start cooking like on a grill, and then they basically have the best seat for the fireworks 100%.
They do have the best seat, but they don't do that.
Okay, I'm exaggerating, but for me, it's literally a roll up at the last minute thing.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see Fantasmic because I think it's going to be cool. I want to see if the changes that they've made it better or not. But I'm still just sick about the fact that they haven't brought the Frozen Summer back, and they haven't brought back the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular at Hollywood Studios fireworks shows. Those fireworks shows were both amazing. Frozen Summer with the snow coming down the, sunset in Hollywood. I mean, that was just phenomenal. So for me, I'm always gonna be salty about that. So, but maybe Fantasmic will be cool. We'll see. More trouble for Disney. Let's talk about the annual pass holder lawsuit that's going on right now. They've got another lawsuit. We originally reported on a lawsuit in Disneyland where there was basically annual pass holders were suing Disney because of the reservation system. They're basically saying, hey, this is like stealth blackout dates. Like we bought a pass that doesn't have blackout dates, but because of the reservation system, you're basically just blacking out dates and we can't attend.
They do that.
They definitely do that. We watch it.
They started it. They do it really bad over the holidays, and it's already started.
It's already started
like last week.
They're bouncing them back. They're now, if you really pay attention to it, they open back up sometimes, and you can kind of get in.
Yeah, it'll change.
It just
all
changes.
The day.
Yeah, especially the day of. It like bounces around. I think what they're doing during the day of is trying to push people to other parks. So they like shut the capacity down in one part, and they try to push them to another park, and then they reopen it and they rebalance it. But then sometimes all of them are shut down at the same time. So it's kind of a zoo.
It's annoying.
But now there's a lawsuit on Disney World, not just Disneyland. Annual pass holders are coming out of the woodwork and saying, hey, look, this is enough's enough. We're paying for no blackout dates, and you're basically blacking out dates, period, point blank. And so I don't know that, I mean, I have to assume maybe they have a case. Otherwise, a lawyer probably wouldn't have taken it. But I don't know if they really do or not. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. Me personally, I hate the reservation system. I'm not a fan, don't like it at all. So maybe I'm not saying that I want these people to win the lawsuit because I don't want Disney to lose money, but maybe because they're getting sued, I don't know, maybe it makes a change and they actually decide to maybe cut the reservation system off.
Or just
so that'd be a win
stop
for me.
blocking out the Incredipass holders.
Yeah, or something. I would pay more money for an annual pass if it really meant no blackout dates.
We did pay more money.
Yeah, we did. We paid a lot of money for it, but I feel like I would pay even a little bit more if it was like, you definitely can get in.
I shouldn't have to.
Yeah, this is tough. We're not pleased with it. We don't like the reservation system, so that's just the way it is. So moving on.
The Harmonious barges caught fire. First it was the American Pavilion, now it's the barges.
like they can't get Harmonious under control. Like, I don't know, that fireworks show has been a disaster from day one. You know those barges were not supposed to be sitting in the lagoon. Those were supposed to be movable barges that would actually come off every night back through the drawbridge that they have over there by the India and China area.
Where all the birds are.
Yeah, where all the birds are. They would come off, and then they would come back in the morning, or not in the morning, but for the actual Harmonious show, and they would just keep coming on and off. And they couldn't get that to work. They had to like scrap that whole thing. American and people haven't been loving Harmonious.
I like it. I like it if I stand on the bridge.
They've had to make a bunch of changes to it because people have been upset and things weren't working. And the arms, by the way, it's never looked like it did in the concept art. Like the concept art looks like water everywhere, and it's just like this beautiful fountain. And in reality, it just looks like kind of like these like weird little arms that are like spritzing a little bit of water off. And it's just I don't think it
Kind of
ever.
reminds me of a spider.
I don't know if they cut the budget back, but something. It's kind of busted. And then they caught the American Pavilion on fire. Now they caught the barges on fire. They just need to go. Get rid of it. Goodbye. See you later. Good riddance. Not gonna cry a tear. Don't let the door hit you on the way out by Harmonious. And Disney did say obviously Harmonious is going bye-bye at the end of the 50th, so it's definitely on its way out. So it looks like we may almost there gotten confirmation that the Play Pavilion is gonna be gone, canceled, that whole plan is scrapped, which is over by Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, the old Body Wars, Wonders of Life Pavilion. We kept seeing people work on it, so I thought for sure, like, ooh, it's going to open up soon. And then all of a sudden, we're getting more announcements that it's probably canceled. And the Magic Band thing.
Yeah.
We got it on video the other day that like we kept walking by whenever you exit Guardians of the Galaxy, our magic bands would light up. So I thought for sure, because the buildings are so close to each other and that's the corner where they almost touch when you get off the exit of Cosmic Rewind, that maybe they're doing something in there and it was triggering my band. I mean, it's literally still to this day, every time I get off that ride, it goes off and nobody knows why. And I thought for sure that was why. I don't know, maybe not. So now we just don't know. But it looks like the whole play pavilion, done, canceled. Maybe they're gonna do something else there. I don't know. Not officially confirmed yet, but it does look more and more like that's probably gonna be canceled.
It looks like there's some bushes and landscaping going in at Tron, and he always says once the landscaping starts going in, then the ride's about done.
Yeah, it's about done. But
is it?
Unfortunately, we went there the other day and I looked in. I was like, I saw a bunch of landscaping going in. I was like, oh, we're getting there. But then I looked and the whole freaking trail, the railroad's not even there yet. I'm like, what are you doing? What is taking so long with the Tron ride? I mean, they did announce that it's going to be a few months away, but I thought maybe they were like tricking us.
Yeah.
Because I saw landscaping finally going in, but no, there's still like a ton of stuff left to do. It's like busted mud everywhere and dirt. They still don't have the railroad tracks laid back down for the tunnel. It doesn't look done at all. So I was getting excited because saw some landscaping, but I think it was a false alarm. I think they just threw a few bushes in there just to try to get us excited, but it's not happening. So no. Let's talk about the last piece of news, which I think is really interesting. They actually came out with all the reports on the attendance numbers. Now, these reports aren't entirely accurate because they're not necessarily provided by the theme parks, but it's estimation. And it looks like over the past year, 2021, 2022, it looks like Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure have outperformed from an attendance perspective all of Disney World's parks except for Magic Kingdom. There are more people going to Universal and Islands of Adventure individually than there are going to Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. That's crazy to me. And just to break out the numbers, these are, again, the estimated reported, numbers of that kind of shows that Universal's doing it right. Like, they're doing some stuff right. So here's the numbers. Universal Studios is around 9 million visitors at their park. Islands of Adventure also right around 9 million visitors at that park. Hollywood Studios is about 8.5 million. Animal Kingdom was about 7 million. And Epcot was almost around 8 million, like 7.7 million. So Universal Islands of Adventure beating all those parks pretty handily by about 500,000 to about 1.5 million visitors. Now, Magic Kingdom's still the king, queen, whatever you want to call it. They're still the leaders. They're at 12 million visitors. But what I think is really interesting about these numbers isn't just the attendance numbers. It's how much they've gone up since the COVID pandemic. So pre-pandemic levels, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios were at about 10 million people visiting. So they're almost back to the pre-pandemic. They're almost back to those attendance numbers. I actually wonder if 2022, 2023 is actually going to be even higher. I'm sure it will be. But just to give you an idea, Magic Kingdom was at 20 million people. And they're only at 12, so they're like barely, like 60% of the way there. They're like almost only about halfway back to pre-pandemic levels. And Universal Islands of Adventure are already pretty much back to where they were. The other parks, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, they were about like 12 to 14 million. So they're also only about 50%. So I don't know that that's a capacity issue or it's just there's just less demand for people wanting to get to the parks. Again, Bob's strategy has been he wants less people in the parks and he wants them to be paying more money. So either what he's doing is working really well and it's keeping people away, but they're still making more money because of the fact that they're charging so much, or there's just less demand of people actually wanting to go than there was at pre-pandemic levels, and more people were going to Universal. I think these numbers should be very concerning for Disney, especially when you think about Epic Universe. When Epic Universe comes out, this is really going to blow up, I think, and those numbers are going to be huge. All three of their parks may end up being just trumping the Disney parks. We'll see. Another side note, which I thought was interesting, was Kings Island was actually around 3 million-ish, which is where SeaWorld Orlando was at. And I think Busch Gardens as well, maybe. So Kings Island, shout out, doing pretty good. I mean, you're up there, right up there at the top, so that's pretty cool. So there you have it. That's all the news that we've got for you this week. Like I said, it's a ton of stuff. I knew there was a lot, so we got through it as quickly as possible, but those are the most important things we thought you would want to know about. Thanks again for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's other news that we forgot. Send it our way. We'll report on it. We'll give you credit too. We'll even call you out. We'll shout you out in the news. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you next time, the Noble Way.
It's the easy way.
Bye-bye, everybody.